Hey, welcome to the Hellion Rocks. Today I've got my good friend and guitarist Casper Gomez on the show. We're going to talk about his new record he's got coming out, Lyricless, and about how he got here in the music world. Casper, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, excellent. We're carrying the torch of rock and roll music, keeping independent artists alive, giving them an outlet and a media for non-corporate entities. So here we are. So
awesome.
I'm really excited to talk to you today. I mean, I've known you for a long time, and it's kind of a catch-up for us. Tell us what's been going on.
I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been, producing a couple of artists, here in town, their albums, their EPs, their demos, working with different, groups, and ranging in genres all the way from jazz all the way to metal. And it kind of, stemmed to just me doing my own thing. I really, had put this off for a long time. And so what I've been doing now is just coming, full force with this album and really kind of deciding, what's going to happen afterward is really based on the success of it or not. And I'm really not going to be judgmental about that. It was just something I wanted to do, and I finally got it done, and that's where I'm at right now.
Cool. I'm excited because, as long as I've known you, you've been part of other groups and stuff. You worked with other artists, and I really haven't had a chance to see you as a solo performer working with your own stuff. So this is kind of exciting to hear.
Exactly. And that's kind of the way I felt about it, too, is I just never had a chance to really debut my own stuff. And it's just, it's evolved to that, both socially and just as a player. I just wanted to do my own gig, and I actually kind of get tired of working with other people at some point. You know what I mean? Everybody that I've worked with, I've learned from, and everyone that I even if I expect not to, I still try to get the most out of the experiences that I have with them. But it gets very stressful, and it's hard. Being in a band is and it's been said before, is being like married to all five members in a way. If there's five people, it's like being married to five people, and it's really stressful. So it's kind of like a weight off my chest at the same time. It's putting it all back on, but it's all on me at least. So I have the power to control it. So it's a good thing.
Nice. I know, sometimes bands click and everything works out, and sometimes it just doesn't, and that's the nature of the business. There have been great bands that have fallen apart just because, like you said, the individuals don't really click, and that's a necessity in music, and sometimes that formula does work out.
Right.
On your own, how did you get here, man? How did you find music? What brought you to picking up guitar and to where we are today?
It's funny. I played French horn in middle school, and at the time I thought that was the epitome of what I wanted to do. I really thought that me playing the French horn could be a career. And I took a break off between middle school and high school, and a friend of mine had a guitar that his dad had given him. And I knew that he had it. I never really thought anything about it, but he showed me a couple songs. In fact, the first song I ever figured out was Come As You Are. It's Nirvana. So it was bizarre that when he showed it to me, I was able to pick it up real quick. I had a good ear because I played French horn. That's what people had told me. But it all seemed to make sense on the guitar after I'd taken, those beginning, middle school music classes. It all seemed to start making sense. And so I told myself, I was like, this is the instrument that I want to play. This is what I want to do. I was about 15 when that happened. And from there on, it really just, I got into the music business as a sound engineer also. So that gave me a leg in that a lot of other artists probably wouldn't have. I have to be thankful for the fact that I've worked on the side of the stage for tons of different, headlining acts and national acts, international acts. I mean, I can name a bunch, but I really have to say that I have an advantage knowing the production and the sound and the lighting, and then also being able to play on stage and still having, conscious awareness of everything that's going on around me. So I guess you can say, as far as where it started with that guitar, that one song, and then from there kind of just evolved and kind of really branched out when I started doing sound for all these different bands. I had a advantage even listening to these great artists, firsthand, And so that's where I'm at today is really just a, culmination of all these events just leading up to me, playing on my own solo record, and that's how that all happened.
Nice. I know from a prior knowledge of what you do, I know that you play across the board. You've played everything from classical music to hard shred and rock. And
Right.
to me, that shows that you've got the soul of an artist. You have the love of music. And we were talking a little bit earlier, prior to the interview, that, the soul of music is in everything around us. This has come up in several other conversations I've had with, music is natural to a human being's soul. And I think that artists that recognize that make true art and true music. They're not doing it for the monetary reasons.
Right.
It is nice to get paid, but, I think the trade-off is you get long-standing iconic music that is made from the heart versus a flash in the pan music that's made for the wallet.
And I can relate to that too. I never really said I wanted to be a famous guitar player in my mind. I really just love music. I'd love to be a famous guitar player. That's really, it's in the back of my head though. It's not something that I'm striving for. What I'm striving for is a channel that I can put my music out on, and really kind of paint a picture of what I'm trying to do musically for people.
Nice. So you had a record come out today, right? A Christmas record.
There was a release. It was a Christmas EP I put together. It's only 3 songs. It's real simple, but I'm calling it, the 3-course Christmas dinner for the ear. It's called A Taste of Christmas. It's being released today, and you can go onto my website, CasperGomez.com. There'll be details on where to download that. It'll be available on iTunes and Google Play and all that, Amazon. So that came out today. That's kind of just my take on a couple different Christmas songs. So a lot of people, can't stand Christmas songs after a while. So I took a couple of them and like Carol the Bells, and I made my own version of it, kind of a dark Spanish guitar version of that song. I did a piano cover of a Christmas song by, Mel Torme, and also Winter Wonderland, a jazz version of that I put together. So, it's really, it's kind of all over the board. Like you said, everything that I've done has involved different styles of music. And I've had to fit in as a guitar player in all these different scenarios. And so this gave me a chance to offer that just from me. And I did all the parts. I did all the, sequencing, all the bass lines, all the guitar parts, all the solos, and it's all instrumental. So it's all me.
Nice. That's cool that came out today, but I'm really excited. You've got a full length coming out called Lyricless, right?
Yeah, Lyricless is due next week, 11, 12, 13. That's the date.
Tell us about how that album came to be and what we can expect.
This is basically my interpretation of a story of, and it's not me, but I definitely can say I can relate to what I wanted to portray. And the concept of this album is basically a man that sees what he needs to be doing in life, and decides to go on this journey to kind of fulfill what he now knows how he has to live. To me, it's like it's really not what you leave behind; it's how you live. And if you can focus on that, then your end of days will be a lot more meaningful, I think. Instead of worrying about your inventory, you should be worrying about, what you've done, and not what you have. And so the concept of living like that is really what this album is. It basically is the guitar telling the story of the man going through this, I guess you can say, passage through life. And it's all interpreted with the guitar. There's no lyrics, hence the name Lyricless. And it really is basically, again, it's all over the board. We have stuff that's kind of bizarre, some Spanish guitar stuff, some acoustic stuff. There's that shred lead, just straight up shred. And so it's got a little bit of everything for everybody. I definitely can say there's going to be one thing on there that you like, even if you don't like anything else. There's still something on there for everyone. So that's kind of how that came to be, is kind of just imagining how I wanted my first album to sound like, and really coming up with a concept around what I wanted to say. And it ended up being, that story told by the guitar. So that's lyricless. That's what that is.
Nice. You did all the work yourself?
Again, yeah, I did all the recording, all the producing, and that's another thing, you know, in this day and age where you have all these resources. So many people, they do their own music. But at the same time, I'm thankful for, you know, knowing the people that I know, and you know, there's some really, really, you know, influential people that I've met in my life that had a lot to do with all the different successes that I've had. You know, I can go and name names all day just because I'm very thankful for these people. So so that's you know, I'm real excited about it, and that's next week no matter what. If you like guitar solos, you're gonna love it. That's a hands down. So that's what it's all about.
It's a guitar lover's dream.
Yeah, it's for any guitar connoisseur. It's like you got it all. It's like a buffet.
Nice. I know one of the cool things is you and I have known each other for quite a while now. We've seen each other grow and change, and
Right.
I think that, you know, it's fate that we keep running into each other and keep supporting each other, and I'm really glad. It seems like you're in a better place, you know, putting this music out, you know, pouring your heart out on music the way it should be. So it's a very cool thing to see this happen for you, man.
Right, and you know, and I got to thank you also. You're definitely one of those names I'd mentioned that helped me kind of, you know, see where I needed to go. That you know, not everybody you meet in life is going to steer you in the right direction. You'll feel when it's wrong, and I think everything happens for a reason too. You know, that everything that, you know, ends up happening, I try to get something positive out of. You know, I try to make it positive if I feel like it's not. You know, so that's kind of the way I felt. You know, when I met you, man, you really supported me, and I really want to say thank you for that. And, you know, doing this interview with you is awesome, you know, just to talk about the album, but at the same time, just to, you know, see where we're at, and I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm cool. You know, it's cool to see that people that are in it for the love of music are continuing, and they're continuing to grow, and other people that aren't in it for necessarily the right reasons are not in it with their whole heart. You know, you can tell because they're still in the same spot. They haven't grown any, and it's not nothing negative to them, but you have to question their motives and wonder if they're, you know, making the right decisions. And, you know, you wish the best for people, but it's kind of hard to leave them behind. You know what I'm trying to say? But you have to.
Yeah, in the end, you know, whether you're selling it or not, your music is still your product. And to me, it's like, you know, even if you're giving it away, it's not about making money. It's really about putting out what you want to. You know, there shouldn't be any, you know, censorship involved. There should just be your own interpretation of what you wanted to paint. But it'd be music, you know, for a painter, it would be a painting. And so,
Right.
you know, I think there's those people that held on to what they really thought music was that don't really enjoy the, you know, immediate indulgence of today's music that's in and out right away. It's like fast food, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And, you know, I think it definitely lacks a lot of this because of that.
I recently I had a discussion with another guitar player, Adrian Galish, and we talked about that, how that influences in true art encompasses all across the board. You know, there's not just, you can't just pigeonhole yourself. You know, I know a lot of people that are, you know, metal, 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 and
Right.
they continue to play that, and they're not growing.
Right.
You know, there's no growth of new art forms out of that. You know, and you know, granted, I prefer, you know, hard rock, you know, that kind of, you know, rock and roll kind of stuff, but I don't limit myself. I listen to, you know, all music, jazz, classical, a lot of, you know, old country, and you can hear artists that really take their influences from the past like that. You can hear it in their music, and you can also hear the ones that are just pigeonholed and listen to one genre of music, and they're not expanding upon that. They're not truly finding themselves as an artist. It's just, that's the same old, like you said, fast food.
Yeah.
You know,
and I think
one batch of French fries.
Yeah, I think it really goes the same to say that, you know, like an artist, as a painter, you have so many colors that you can work with. And if you sit there working with the same colors over and over, it's not only going to be the same picture and same images, but it's also going to be diluted by every single thing that you've already done. It's kind of like it needs to be fresh, it needs to be new. And I think it's up to the artists and it's up to the musicians to kind of challenge themselves to go to the next level with their music, whether that be, working with somebody else or taking a music class or taking a class that kind of, goes over genres you've never really understood musically. I think it's really up to the musicians to teach, again, not only themselves to get better as far as what they know, as far as what they interpret getting better as, but also to teach the younger, crowd. The kids nowadays, they're not really accustomed to the same type of music we grew up with. They're used to that immediate gratification. It's like, here it is, you got it, listen to this for a while. Okay, what's next? That's to me what it is. So there's no sitting down and struggling anymore. There's no sitting down with a guitar. No, they have a game that'll play the guitar for you. You know what I mean? So it's also that pushing yourself to do that next step. I think it just has to be portrayed to, the younger crowd too.
I'm going to throw a major name out here. It's like Metallica, right? These guys grew as people. They grew as, with families and with, life experiences. They grew as musicians. And when that change, those life changes reflected in their music, it alienated a lot of people. Not necessarily did they sell out. They've grown as people, and they've grown as artists. And like we were saying, they're not correcting out the same thing. And whether it's good or bad, I have to applaud them for, showing that growth. And I see that with you as well. At first when we, a lot of people talked about, Casper, they said, oh, he's just redhead. I kind of got the feeling that there was more to you than that. And I saw that when, I've seen you play live with other bands and stuff, and I saw that underlying non-shredder, if that makes sense. And I'm glad to see that you've grown and come out of that, and you're going to show the world what you're made of.
Yeah, I really embrace that comment because, it's I had one of the greatest guitar players in the world tell me, I don't play fast. I play the notes the way they should be played in this song. It's not about fast or slow. It's about the way the song needs to be. And sometimes the song is slow. Sometimes the song is drawn out. Sometimes the song is fast. It's really what you want to do with it. And I really strive and I really push myself to do those different dimensions of music, whether it be performing them or recording them or writing it. I really try to branch out. So the fact that you noticed that, speaks volumes for I guess what I'm trying to do. I appreciate that.
Oh, no worries. So Lyricless coming out.
Right.
Are we going to see that translated into a live performance anytime soon?
So we're going to have a CD release event. Right now it's an online release. And so once I get the, I guess you can say, band together, whatever that may be, a group of guys or girls that we can perform this album, that's probably going to be the next step. That is a little bit harder to do, considering I wrote all the parts. I guess you can say at this point I would have to be doing all the parts if I was on stage. If we do have an event that's a little more laid back, it would be definitely on into December or something like that. We look forward to something then, maybe mid-December.
Thanks. So is there going to be a hard copy out too?
We're going to have some hard copies pressed. Right, yeah, it's an online distro right now. And other than that, I'm making some prints. And I had a little contest, a couple of winners that we had on Facebook. A guy named Ben Reyes, good friend of mine, good bass player, and a girl named Nadia Gatch, who's a good friend of our family's, won the CD. So I'm going to be doing some more contests also. So you're going to want to go on to CasperGomez.com, click on the Facebook link, and then like the page for chances to win some CDs. So that's what's up.
Beautiful. So beyond Lyricless, what does the future hold for Casper Gomez?
Huh. That's funny. And I really sat here, when I did this, telling myself, don't look ahead, just really focus on the now. And so it's kind of up in the air. There's really a lot of different opportunities that I end up getting handed to me. both for, playing and for doing, audio for touring acts. And so it's kind of up in the air right now. I'd say that what I'm going to do no matter what is start making my next album. It's going to involve some lyrics. It might involve a couple, different artists being featured on it, definitely. And it's going to be a little bit more, I could say a little less guitar and a little bit more of other stuff. So that's probably where I'm headed after this on the music side.
So you've told us, you've mentioned a couple of times that you've gone out and you've done sound. What an opportunity it gets you to travel. I know you recently did a little bit of traveling, and tell us what that is like.
Traveling is not, I know a lot of people think it's easy, and it's definitely fun. There's fun times, but being on the road is probably one of the hardest things I can say I've ever done. You never rest 100%. I toured with guitar great Yngwie Malmsteen as one of the techs, the backline tech. Teched a little bit of guitars for him. So immediately when I got this job, I was stoked. I was like, this is going to be amazing. This is cool. I get to hang out with rock stars, And I had already done that my whole life, but to me it was like a whole other level of that. And I got real humble real quick, and I've never been that type of person that likes to take pictures with celebrities, and I wasn't doing stuff like that. But at the same time, I did have a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. So yeah, I can say any experience that I've had on the road is a payoff in the end. But at the same time, the workload is heavy. It's kind of a trip. A lot of people don't really understand how that works, but it's not easy to do. I've enjoyed it all. I've worked around great artists, Tom Petty, Scorpions, in all kinds of different genres too. Toby Keith, Santana, Bonnie Raitt, and it's always fun. I guess you can say the highlight of it is watching these guys perform. You get to sit there and literally be a part of a team, a production that involves a really good artist, and that's to me the highlight of the whole thing.
Nice. I know, a lot of people think that the glory of rock and roll and rock stars, living on the road, it's cool. I like you have been around and seen that, and it is hard. It is, but it's the sacrifice that true artists are willing to make, and I'm thankful that artists are out there doing it. It's a rough life, eating on the run, like you said, sleeping in a van, or sleeping on the floor somewhere, dirty clothes, not getting out of the shower all the time.
Right.
But the satisfaction of seeing a crowd screaming, yelling, having a great time, it's got to be worth it,
Yeah, and they love the music. That's why they're there. They're not there to see a pretty face. Maybe they are. I don't know. It depends on who's playing guitar or doing whatever. But they're not there to do that. They're there to listen to the music. They're there to absorb that sound that this group of artists or artists is putting out. And that's, to me, it's that work paying off in the end. It's that hard work, and you get to see all that, and that's really what people, I guess you can say, need to embrace as far as the artists that they enjoy. If you really like music, and you say you really love a particular artist, go out and see those guys live. Go out and see them. I don't care who it is. Just go see them live. Show the support. Go out and actually buy the hard copy of the album. Don't download it. Buy the physical album. And I know vinyl is actually coming back now. A lot of artists are putting their stuff out on vinyl. And I always loved getting a record because there was so much, pictures involved in the whole album, and when you unfold it, it was just exciting, So I'd urge anybody that says they love music or any artist just to go out and see the show, if you can.
Yeah. It's supporting live music, I know.
Right.
You can go on the internet and watch a live set. Usually you can find a complete set from a band, but there's nothing like the experience of being with other people that love the music and forgetting your cares of the day, forgetting the bills, forgetting all your worries, and being transported away by live music. I think that there's a camaraderie. I remember the days of going to a concert, hanging out in the parking lot, talking to other people, finding out about bands that they're listening to that I might not have heard, telling them about a band that I know that they might not have heard. Getting that sense of unity, and there was no animosity. Right. There was no animosity. We had a great time,
Right.
standing there, and you go in and your band starts playing there on stage. Your fist is bumping, your head's nodding. You look around, and everybody, you catch somebody else's eye. They're like, yeah, and that's it for that hour and a half, 2 hours. That's it.
Right.
And that's what I think we need to get back in our world. A lot of people are saying that live music's dead, the music industry's gone. I say no, it's not. Unfortunately, like our country, corporations have taken over everything, and everything's gone corporate. And it's a necessary evil if you want to survive in the world. But we as lovers of music, makers of music, writers of music, press, everything, we need to take it back. And when rock and roll first started back in the day, it was underground. People were handing records to each other saying, check this band out, listen to this.
Right.
And that's how it got started. And I think we've gone back to that. And it's up to us to tell other people to get your ass off the couch, out of your house, out of in front of the big TV or the computer, and, give it up for a couple hours. What's it going to cost you?
Yeah. I mean, there's still bands out there that do the struggle. I mean, and I hate to call it a struggle because I never really considered it any amount of work. It was really just doing what I loved. The amount of work comes from all the other sides of it, but playing on stage, then and there is worth it to say that it was not any work at all. So that I think, there's still tons of bands out there that do that. They're underground. I think this corporate version of the record labels and stuff like that and really trying to control it has just really kind of set it up for a kind of a third world, sort of music subculture, that we have now between the communities. You have this sort of underground music, and that's that indie, label stuff that we have now. And I think that's a good thing in a way. And at the same time, it's like, if you want to go to Yale, you got to get the credentials. You got to take those classes. So if you want to get up in music, there's going to be some things that you got to do that you either assume that you didn't have to or you didn't want to. And so it goes along, with keeping the evolution of your art, always improving, the contentness.
My good friend. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. The contentness that people get with their lives is what keeps them from doing anything else. So.
Yep. So we've been talking to Casper, my great friend, guitar player, brand new album coming out, Lyricless. Dude, this is your chance to tell the world what you want to tell them. My site's out in 140 countries, so go.
You know what? I just want to say thanks to the Hellion himself, James. It was, I cherish our friendship, and I really appreciate you letting me talk about my album, Lyricless. You can go on to CasperLeoGomez.com. That's CasperLeoGomez, CasperLeoGomez.com. The album's going to be up for sale next week. You can go in and check out all kinds of different press and videos and pictures of past performances and stuff like that. So with that said, keep playing music. Don't ever stop. And make it real,
Do what you love. Casper, it's an honor talking to you. And hopefully we can do some more. We'll keep everybody abreast on what's going on with you. I look forward to the release, and I look forward to supporting you. And hopefully when you do have your live release show, I can be there and we can do some more.
Oh, you'll definitely be there, man. I hope so. Thank you again.
Cool. All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, James. Have a good night, man.